Welcome back, everybody. We are the Alter Ego Brothers. I'm Nick, that's Andy, and today we're talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu. But before we do that, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, I did have a surgery. Yes, I no longer have all 4 of my parathyroid glands, okay? You don't need to make fun of me about it anymore. You just...
Stop.
Okay, I'm getting ahead of it. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. Everybody check your calcium levels, all right? The only thing that'll make it better is if you like, comment, and subscribe right now.
And if you don't, then you wish them ill.
Then I'm gonna have to lose another one. You only hit 4. I have 3, okay? I'm gonna have to lose another one, and it's gonna be your fault. But enough about that. What do we think about The Mandalorian and Grogu? I gave it a 7 out of 10. For the first Star Wars film in 7 years, I thought it was pretty all right. I thought they played it very, very safe. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's Star Wars.
Surprisingly, I gave this a 6 out of 10. So I did like this one. I think overall, it's definitely gravitated for children, and that you find that with the story beats. So
let's put those scores together, and that gives us...
What does it give us?
It gives us a 6 out of 10. Let us know what you think. Let's talk about some of the big stuff here. I actually thought, story-wise, that this is kind of what let down the score for me. It was very obvious that it is a continuation of a TV series, and the movie felt like 3 TV episodes kind of just smashed into one for me. There weren't really stakes throughout the whole thing. Like, there were, but there really weren't. But man, was it a lot of fun. I enjoyed the action bits in it. I thought it had more action than Mortal Kombat 2 did. I don't, it's very meh. It's very okay. I'm fine with it. It's fine.
I haven't seen the TV show series, so I was kind of curious to see where this landed in the storyline of things and how they were going to tell it. So I come from that perspective, just so you guys know. Overall, I thought it did a really good job because I understood what the story was. I understood where we're going with. I think, to your point, Nick, from an adult standpoint, it's like I needed just a little bit more depth and I needed a little bit more stakes in there. It just felt like you knew what was going to happen. But to a kid, you kind of don't have those 2 wishes just yet. So I thought it was actually designed appropriately for kids. There were just some common sense directional things that were just kind of confusing to me. And one of the more obvious ones was when the Mandalorian goes to save Rada the Hutt because he's a prisoner, and then in turn imprisons himself. I'm like, yeah, so you're just the new bad guy. Like, what are we doing here? Like, let's think this through a little bit. But I really enjoyed all of the characters, and I love their personalities as well. I was surprised to see when, spoilers, the Mandalorian goes down for a little bit, and Grogu has to go and try to cure him and heal him over the course of a week or 2 or however long this was. That it felt like a long time to me. I can't imagine a kid with even shorter attention span to be able to sit through that and be entertained by it. I thought that was a choice, and I thought that was. I would be curious because I'm guess you took your kids if they commented on that at all, if it felt slow to them or something. But overall, I thought it was a cool, entertaining movie.
So just to touch on that point, I actually chose that point in time to take Oliver to the bathroom. So it was a great time to go to the bathroom, but I've seen this sentiment online. Apparently, it's only barely 14 minutes, that whole section, but it really does feel like it's 45 for some reason.
It doesn't need
It's a long stretch. Speaking of Grogu, I did want to talk about the practical effects and specifically the puppeteering in this movie, because holy shit, was that so fun to watch. Some of the camera angles that they got where they have practical puppets going in the water and they're scooping them up or jumping around the screen. That I'm thinking back to Muppet movie days and going from not being able to see their bottom halves to being able to see all of what they have, and they're moving around everywhere, and it just blew my mind to know that that's all practical puppetry. And I want to see more of that stuff in the future. Like, we haven't had a movie that had practical puppets like this in decades, if not longer. It was so cool.
You're just a practical slut, so.
I am. I really am. I like it when people work on things and they build things that are tangible.
Yeah, because especially these days with the kind of like disadvancement of CGI, like we're going backwards with it and its quality. So the CGI I thought was good. It was fine. I thought the mouth movements in particular was actually really good. But as far as just like the believability of like, this is a real monster right here, like it still lacked about 20% there. It couldn't quite get there, which is fine and all. It was still believable and good enough to tell the story. But now you add these practical effect puppet things, which, you know, they look like puppets and move like puppets a little bit, right? And I was wondering, like, how do I weigh this as far as like special effects go? Like, what am I judging here? Like the quality of both or one over the other? I wasn't really too sure. Since I haven't seen the show and I knew that Grogu was a puppet, I was actually curious to see, like, am I going to see a puppet or am I going to see Grogu? And I saw Grogu. So I thought that was big old kudos to the whole practical team. But the CGI just like is let it fall a little bit. So
the last thing I really want to touch on is Ludwig, my man. Holy shit, was the music fantastic. Oh my God. We have no problems in the music department as far as Star Wars goes for the long term because of this man. He is just on fucking fire, bro. I want to get the soundtrack to this movie. If anything else, I want to get that.
One fun bit about the music in this film was when he goes to Secure, you're just hit with a different kind of sound and music that you don't hear in Star Wars. And it just felt very cyberpunk-y. And I'm like, finally, like, this is music that was actually cool and like was entertaining. Because I was actually getting frustrated with the B-roll and cinematography team because the amount of time we spent just watching Pedro Pascal, well, if it was even him under the suit for most of this, yeah, watching them just walk in the alleys or along the streets. But there was a lot of walking. But the music kept it just epic the entire time. And then it repurposed it towards the end of the movie too, to just tie that in, because at first I was like, this is really out of place. I'm not sure if I like this or not. But the more I listened to it, the more I just understood, okay, no, this is just a new thing. It's not typical Star Wars. And especially the music that they portrayed towards the end, especially when Grogu was trying to heal the Mandalorian, that music there was very beautiful. And then it finished with just, let's jam to this shit. So I really liked the music as well. I was a big fan of it.
Yeah, he just did an expert job of taking that kind of like Outer Rim, Western, sci-fi theme and then just molding it into that cyberpunk theme and then getting more acoustic when we're on like Nal Hutta where it's more swampy. There's a lot more vegetation and stuff like that. It just gets more woodsy and natural sounding. But as always, don't just take our word for it. Let's see what the internet has to say. And as we're taking a look here, and I'm totally looking at something else and not just nothing above my computer screen, the audience score for this one is around an 8 out of 10. While on the flip side, the critics for The Mandalorian and Grogu sit at a 5.5 out of 10. Okay, so here is a 1 out of 10 score, and it reads, walked out. Terrible CGI, not worth your time. Gen X checking in. Started off today with some decent action, and it felt like Star Wars. But after about 15 minutes, it took a dive off a cliff. Felt like TV after a long mid-film sequence they added in front. The CGI was really bad! Lots of exclamation points. Also, it is really confused with who the audience is. Once I heard Jabba the Hutt's CGI son speak in plain and clear English, I got my things and I walked out. That was at the hour mark, including the previews. So like the 15-minute mark of the movie. I never could picture myself walking out of a Star Wars film. Ever. But here I was. 10 out of 10s are bots. You have been warned.
Feels good to hear from Gen X Jeff again.
I don't know why he even wasted the gas at that point if he was just gonna sit through previews and get to like the first 15 minutes of the movie.
It's so hard to critique a movie designed for kids when you're an adult, and back in the day it was designed for you, so you still want it to be designed for you, but in reality it's still designed for kids.
That actually leads me into a point I wanted to discuss with you. So I don't think these big corporations like Disney or Warner or Discovery, whoever owns all of these IPs, they don't really know what to do with them because the properties themselves have exploded in popularity. If we take Star Wars and then we go back to when you and I were little kids, it was a much smaller fan base back then by quite a lot. And then to have 3 movies come out while we were growing up, they were still kind of panned. Like it still had the same sort of conversation of like, these movies are meant for more of the younger generation, and the older generation just kind of thought they were meh, slop, whatever. And then you keep getting this sentiment over and over. But now we've got like this wide range of fan base. What do you do with something like that? And I think for companies like Disney, they're too concerned about playing it safe and trying to get their money back when the fan base is already loyal. And I think the only real studio that is taking a look at this problem and trying to broaden their horizons and how they need to tackle it is actually James Gunn with the DC universe right now. And the reason that I say that is because we've got a Clayface movie coming out later this year that is strictly a rated R horror movie. And he's a Batman villain. And I think that's where you really start to marry these IPs with different audiences and what they want to watch. I know there's like a concern with like Disney Plus or whatever. Oh, what if the kids get a hold of, a scary movie? It's just going to happen. It is what it is. I mean, we all stayed up late at one point in time and watched something that we shouldn't have. So it's just part of the age. But what do you think the way forward is? What do you think the right way to like consolidate? Like, should we just say fuck it to the old fan base and like just cultivate new over and over and over? Like, are they going down the right path? Are there different strengths to having a wider variety of content? Like, what are your thoughts about the whole thing?
Well, I think Disney can play it safe because, especially with something like Star Wars, they know that you are going to take them. So they're going to sell kids tickets and they're going to sell adult tickets. Can't really lose there. But I think you kind of touched on it just a moment ago, because instinctually to me, I feel as though you have to split up your audiences with stuff like this and here's like kid-oriented films like The Mandalorian, but then here's some other like new version of Star Wars that like has a lot more in-depth stuff to it, a lot more politics to it, and maybe is a slower paced type of thing, because that's what the adults want to see. And then when those kids grow up, they can look forward to watching those movies, and then it's just like you get even more bang for your buck. Meanwhile, the adults are still going to see the kids version of it because they have to take their kids to it. So to me, like you're just creating this cycle of just, you're gonna get twice as many views, if not more, by doing something like that. That's how I feel like it should go. Because if you continue down the whole path, especially with an IP like Star Wars and stay kids oriented, you're really going to lose a lot of the adult interest. And as those kids grow up, what do they have to watch at that point? There's no adult versions. They're not going to go back and watch the kids versions. Like I don't go back and watch Spy Kids. Except for one time because my wife made me, but I don't necessarily have interest in it, right? So I think you have to have adult versions and keep it kind of like a cycle, essentially.
Let's fucking do that.
I was just thinking, like,
sick.
The Dune universe is even very close to what the Star Wars universe really is. And so if you took like that quality level of like adulthood and put it into the Star Wars universe, like, god damn, like you can really separate even and go a whole series with focusing on one particular government within space. And like you can have a whole series that goes in this direction too, but they all intermingle with each other. And it could be super crazy epic, but I'm not in charge, so. But that's what I would do.
Yeah. What would you do? Let us know your thoughts down below. And thank you for watching the video. Leave a like and a comment while you're here. I don't want to lose any more. That's all up to you. I don't really know how else to segue to the end, so we're just going to go to the end. It's the end. And remember, we're just two regular dudes.
Mostly two full regular dudes doing regular movies.
Don't bring it up.
I don't know what Pedro does, because I swear to God, like, he spends about 10 minutes on set for any movie that he does, and somehow he's the main credit. I don't.
Right.